Thomas Troward talked about the starting point. I love that man's work. I truly love it. Now, the starting point is such a magnificent concept. It's something that you can read over and over and over again. He says it's an old saying that order is heaven's first law. And like many other old sayings, it contains a much deeper philosophy than appears immediately on the surface. Order is heaven's first law. Calm. Everything positive you can think of. You could speak in superlatives all day long and you'd still fall short. You're talking about something beyond the scope of our vocabulary. All of our words in our vocabulary are third dimensional words. And when you get into talking about God, Spirit, Infinite, you don't have a word in your vocabulary to describe that. You've gone beyond the third dimension. So we're talking about something that's so good, you can't even describe it. That's a heavenly state. Now he says, getting things into a better order is the great secret of progress. It's the great secret of progress. If you want to make progress, make order essential in your life. Got to have order. We're now able to fly through the air, not because the laws of nature have been altered, but because we have learned to arrange things in the right order to produce this result. If all things are possible, we've always been able to fly. It was because we learned to arrange things in the right order to produce that result. Well, if you want to get a result you haven't got, if you want a result beyond where you're at, you got to get things into a better order. Things themselves had existed from the beginning of the world. What was wanting was the introduction of the personal factor. You'll hear people say, God will do it. God will not do it. You got to do it. God works to and through you, but you've got to do it. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. You and I are created beings. We can go with our mind and we can take ourselves there and we say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring this into form. I can see it. I can see it. If I can hold it in my head, I can hold it in my hand. Get serious, for goodness sake. You're the most powerful creature on the planet.
Hi folks, good afternoon. How good was that?
Oh, what an incredible introduction. I think every time I come and do this challenge and see those videos, it's always like seeing it for the first time, isn't it? It's just really so incredibly powerful. So welcome. I do not have the YouTube open, Jamie. Have you got the YouTube open?
I've got YouTube open, I do.
Good, well done. So welcome everyone. Welcome to our June 3-day challenge, and I'm going to trust that you loved that video as much as us, and if you did, I want to hear that in the chat. So let's start communicating with each other. The chat in these afternoon sessions is the only place where we can communicate, but in the evenings we have special offering. We have a Zoom room, Zoomiverse, that we've decided to start opening this week each night, where either Jamie will be present or both of us will be present. So we are excited. But this week, this next 3 days, 3 afternoons, 3 evenings, is all about you. It's about you starting to think around what is possible for you. That video just reminds me that when you start to think about what it is that you want in life, where you want to go, you have to move beyond that version of you that got you right here, right now. Move beyond your past thinking, your past limitations, and start thinking about, well, what's next? Bob Proctor is one of our mentors, our dear mentor, and you will hear a lot from him over these next 3 days as we share with you some of his teachings that have completely changed our life, and we are very excited to share them with you. So these next 3 days, these next 3 afternoons, these next 3 evenings, they are not separate sessions, they are a sequence. Each day, each session builds on the one before and absolutely impacts on the one that's coming up for you next. So whatever you're noticing today, it really opens your mind's eye to what's available for you to see tomorrow. This space that we've created is designed to support your seeing what's coming up for you, what's your next level, what your goal is, what your desire is in life, what your intentions are for your days, and how to actually take that and put that into action so that you get to make the changes in your life that you say are important to you. So this information that we're going to share with you, none of this is just insight. We're not here to just give you information. We're not here to just speak at you, which is why the Zoom is so important and why the chat is so important. But what we know now in this world more than ever, just even in these last couple of years, how much the world is changing, the world has moved so far beyond information. So we're not here to give you information. We're here to help you embody the information that's already out there available to you. We know that you've got the knowledge. We know that you know this stuff. But there is always a reason why you are not doing the things that you say you want to do. And so what we are here to do is to give you this transformative experience where you actually apply the information that we are teaching you. So I'm looking for a show of hands or a show of yeses in the chats around. And if you're watching the replay, then, still engage with this, because we're always giving our mind instructions, and we do that by simply following these instructions that we ask you those questions for a reason. We're not just here for chit chat. There are a reason why we're asking you those questions, and there's a reason why we're asking you to comment in the chat, because you're all here for a reason. Something's brought you here. If there's one thing I know for sure, since I've been in this material for the last goodness knows how many years, there is no such thing as a coincidence. You are here for a reason. And now that you're here, you're going to have a part of you that is so excited to be here, that is so excited for your growth, but you're also going to have another part of you that's a bit hesitant. And that's okay, because that's normal. But when you really want to lead from the part of you that wants more, that's ready for something different, that's the part we're asking you to listen to. And that's the part that we want to engage with things, always knowing that there's that little voice on the other side that says, maybe this isn't for me. So comment in the chat when we ask you to, and share with us your information, because we are so excited to be here, and we are so excited to hear from you about what it is that what brought you here, and what it is that you want to get from this next 3 days. So let's set an intention. But before we set our intentions for our next 3 days together, let's make sure you're in the right room. So we want to ask you some questions around how many of you have been in a situation where you say you want change, and then you leave and you end up doing the same thing. So I want you to type out a yes or a Y or a heart in the chat. Yeah, so many of us attend these trainings, and we don't do the things. We still don't do the things. But this is why this room is different, because we have got everything that you need to ensure that you actually do the things. All you need to do is simply do the things. And if it sounds cryptic, it's meant to. But these challenges are always a great honor for us. We are so grateful that you decide to spend your time, your space, your energy to go through this challenge with us. And we know there's many of you that have signed up, and there's many of you that have come into the WhatsApp. If you're not in the WhatsApp, please get into the WhatsApp. And we also know that not everybody will see it through, and that is human nature. People will sign it up, and that part of them that says, maybe that's not for me, that's the part you listen to. But for those of you that know that you want something different, then these next 3 days are going to be incredible, and we are so excited to spend them with you. And I also want you to know that we do this with you every time. And some of our clients come in and do this from our Brilliant Minds Academy. This is it's like a reset sometimes, where we get to a certain level and we think, there's something coming on, or something going on for me, or there's a next level coming through. And so Some of our clients will also be involved in this over these next 3 days. But we are leading, Jamie and I are your leaders. I don't know if I like that word, but it's came out. So we're leading this next 3 days. Our energy is what leads. And we are really protective of our energy. And so we want to contract with you because your energy infiltrates our energy and our energy infiltrates your energy. So we want you to come in with the best of intentions, and that means come in with an open mind. Open your mind wide like a parachute that only works when it's actually open. So keep it open. Understand that when you come in here thinking, I know this stuff, you're shutting down your opportunity to learn more. Knowing is the enemy of learning. So come in. If you feel like you know this stuff, choose to think differently. Choose to decide that I'm going to hear this like I'm hearing it for the first time. So whether you're new to any personal development work or not, whether you're new to Jamie or I, whether you're new to the material that we're going to share, just choose to be open-minded like a parachute and choose to hear it like you're hearing it for the first time. And so I'm going to ask you just to put a high five or a love heart or a fire emoji in the chat as you are listening to this right now. And that shows us that you are going to do this and work with us and protect our energy and contribute to the energizing that gets to come when you come into spaces like this. And the other thing I would say is let go of judgment and just bring some kindness. There is so much going on in the world right now, and it can feel hard if you get really embroiled in some of the messages that people really want to communicate very loudly and sometimes with a lot of determination. So we really want to create a space that's full of love, that's full of fun. We are going to open your eyes to some things that you've never seen before, never heard before. You're going to see things and hear things that you just didn't even imagine were going to come up for you. And that's what we know. That's the experience of what these next 3 days are designed to do and what happens when you come into our world. But what we're asking for you is come and enjoy it. You know, bring your drink, your lunch, your cup of tea, whatever, and bring your heart and fill it. Just fill our whole space with love. So fill our chat with hearts once again as you are listening to this. And the other thing, the reason we ask you to bring this level of love is because we're also going to ask you to do things that are going to require you to be brave. And so when you want to be brave, you need to be excited and you need to be full of love so that you do the things that we're going to ask you to do. There's certain things we're going to ask you to do that are going to take you out your comfort zone. But that's because growth never happens in the comfort zone. So I want to just check in that you are all up for that. Now, it's nothing like, you know, you're not walking on fire. We've done that before, but you're not doing that this week. We are just going to ask you to do things to notice the internal resistance and do it anyway. So there's a hashtag do it anyway invitation in the chat. Or maybe it is just another fire emoji, whatever it feels right for you right just now. But we've got a lot of information that we want to share with you over these next 6 sessions. So 3 afternoons, 3 evenings. But that video, as I said, was our mentor, Bob Proctor. So my name is Nikki. And I'm going to be with Jamie for the rest of this week. He'll introduce himself in a second. But first of all, what do you want to know about me? Well, I am a coach. I've been a coach for a very, very, very long time before coaching was even a thing. I've worked with many people in different sectors, private sector, public sector, global, national, local, all the things. I am a mum. I have 4 incredible children that light up my life. And I am wife to my husband, Johnny. And I'm Jamie's business partner. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. And I guess what I want you to hear about me just now, I mean, Jamie and I will seed a lot of our stories as we share. We always try to trust our intuition that what comes up is what you need to hear. But this information that I'm going to share with you is because of the transformation that it gave me. You know, for a long time, I lived from a place of worry, of fear, of self-doubt. I missed a lot of my life when I was younger, when I got married and I became a wife and I became a mum, and I sacrificed a lot about what made me through that journey. I also had a 22-year career that I just left last year, or 28-year career that I left last year, but 22 years in an organisation that didn't really serve my growth. And it took me a long time to realise that I wasn't experiencing the growth that I had wanted, or I wasn't living the type of life that I thought I would live when I was younger. And that took me to a very dark place for a very long time. And for a long time, I was so stuck in my own misery and my downward spiral that it impacted on all my relationships. I thought my marriage was ending. I used to blame my husband for my misery. And I went through a very strange time for years and years, just all kind of rolled into one, where I literally lived Groundhog Day. Yeah, I woke up and I had the kids, and of course, I love my children and I loved my life, but I just wasn't happy. I did the exercise, kind of ticked the boxes. I worked and made the dinner, and and I always rushed through life. I have very strong, what I call a hurry up driver, where everything had to be done and it had to be done so quickly. And because I was kind of addicted to the process of hurry, I always did everything. I said yes to everything, no to nothing, and just became that person that did everything and did nothing for me, and everything was rushed through. So by the time I got home, I was so exhausted for the kids, and I didn't really enjoy that time with them when they were really little. All I wanted to do was get them to bed so I could get the hoovering done, get the kitchen cleaned, and all these kind of functioning things. And I think I lived like this predominantly for about a decade, certainly as my kids were little. And I wore a great mask. Oh, I had a great I'm fine mask. I'm fine. And strangers probably got my smile, fake smile, more than my family did. But there was a lot going on. And I'm just going to ask you to just be reflective, and that means type. Type if there's anything coming up for you as I shared that. But I waited for good feelings. I used to wait, maybe it was a bar of chocolate in the afternoon, or an extra cup of coffee, or maybe it was a glass of wine when I finally allowed myself to settle once the kids had gone to bed. And I think I used to drink quite a lot. I see, did you hear that? I think I used to drink quite a lot back then. I wasn't an alcoholic, but I pretty much had a glass of wine every night. It was something that I felt I needed, maybe even felt I deserved. So my good feelings always came in something else, something outside of me. Or maybe I would, treat myself to a movie at the weekend or something. But I did find life a struggle for a very long time. I was constantly exhausted. I let everybody know how tired I was. Had huge competitions with my husband about who was the tiredness, and I usually won. And so, yeah, maybe you can relate to some of this. Maybe you have experienced something similar through adulthood. Maybe you felt a little bit shortchanged through adulthood. That certainly was something that I experienced a lot. Maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're lonely, maybe you're under pressure, overwhelmed, stressed. But maybe you also have a desire to find out who you are at your core, and to remember who you are at your core. And maybe you have a desire as well to bring more happiness and more peace and more calm into your life. So no matter where you are in life or who you are, wouldn't it be nice to not have to wait to feel good? Wouldn't it just be great to just feel good now for no reason, to bounce out of bed every morning early, knowing that today is going to be a great day, because you feel good about yourself, you feel good about your life, you feel good about your dreams, your goals, what's coming up for you, your relationships. And it just feels good to simply be in this world, in our every day. So many people don't know that they're in a prison. So many people do fill their lives with moments of fear, sadness, disrepair, anxiety, worry, stress, anger. And I was certainly imprisoned by those thoughts for a long, long time, but they don't dominate my mind at all anymore. I feel very free from the emotions that used to hold me captive. And so, yeah, by free, I don't mean I don't have problems. Of course I have problems. Life is not plain sailing. But what I do know is that no matter what comes my way, I am in control of my reaction, my response rather, my life, my destiny, my future. And although I don't know exactly what's in store, I've got a good sense of what's in store, because I'm making a lot of decisions that are in alignment with what I want to have in store for my future life. And I know that no matter what comes my way, I will be able to deal with anything and make my life wonderful. So as you enter into these next 3 days, just notice what happens in your own imagination. Just notice the thoughts and the feelings that come your way. Notice that sense of possibility, that sense of hope, because that's what we want to tap into. And the mind wants more of what we give it. So when we start to tap into that sense of freedom and sense of hope and sense of excitement, and you will, as we tell you our stories, you will start to feel this. You'll start to feel that sense of freedom for yourself, what that might look like and feel like. And you'll start to get a sense of what's possible for you as well, as you start to realise the prison that you've put yourself in. So we're going to bring you through a journey, and our intention is that at the end of this journey that you gain more insights, more perspectives, more useful ways of seeing your world, and that you gain a different understanding to some of the things that you're experiencing right now. And by the end of this week, we are so excited to just share more of this information so that you realise that life gets to be different and that you don't have to go back. You don't have to live in the past. You don't have to be in the chains or the shackles that you might currently be in. So welcome and thank you for taking a chance on you, for taking a chance on us. And at the end of this week, you will realise how possible it is for you to get to your future more quickly, more easily, better, more effectively, and with more fun than ever before. Jamie, I'll breathe now.
Well, here we go. No, very, very, very nice introduction. Just hopefully you get an understanding of who Nikki is, who we are, because we're here to guide you this week. I'd love to know where anybody else is from. Simone, thank you so much. She's in Ireland. I've offered a few messages. I know people that are working have said. I've got one person who's just messaged there in Australia. She can't watch just now, but she's going to be back. So, Carly, thank you very much for getting in touch. Where's everybody else from? I want to know. We're here in the sunny Dundee in the east coast of Scotland, and we absolutely love this. So, this week is different from the other ones we've done, in that we are going to really start to put everything we want to achieve over the next couple of days, 3 days in particular. And we want you all to really understand what this is all about. So my name's Jamie. I'm also a coach like Nikki and have been doing this all my adult life because my purpose in life is to help people create the best life they can, to be the best version of yourselves. And this week we're going to really introduce you to what is it you want, because every day we live from that point. We decide on what we're going for that day. We believe in achieving the things that we want to achieve. So the whole purpose and title of this week has been called Create Your Reality, because it starts with one thing: your thoughts. Now, we always start with Bob on day one, Bob Proctor, one of our mentors, who talks about desire being that starting point for all achievements. So we're going to really introduce you to a number of words this week that you might be familiar with, words that maybe you look through now through a different lens. But what we also do is we get you to really think about how we shape our reality through our thoughts. So we will be talking about beliefs. We will be talking about the different parts of the mind. We'll be talking about the conscious mind. We're going to be talking about the subconscious mind. And this is to allow you to really benefit from this information and experience the change that you need to make to take your life forward, because we deeply believe that you're here for a reason. You are here because you are looking for a better life. You're looking for more. You're looking to experience more of this gift of life. Did you know that you have got a 1 in 4 trillion chance of being born? 1 in 4 trillion of a chance of you being and having this experience on this wonderful planet. So how do we live as much as that as we can? Because we can have that. We can have whatever it is that you'd want to, but you need to believe that. And simply just because you're here, that's your first step towards you deciding, I want more. And we're here to guide you through that this week. Because again, we deeply believe that you want to maybe help others, you maybe want to help family, your community, you want to have an impact, but you do that by having more, by being more, by doing more. And this is what this is all about, this real concept of self-leadership. And whether it's you've got your own products or your own services, your knowledge, you've got unique skills and techniques that you use, whatever gift you've been given to that is buried deep inside of you, we want to unleash that as we go through this week, because we believe that you want to create something new. You want to give, you want to build, you want to really unleash all this potential you've got inside, but maybe you're just feeling a bit stuck or a wee bit lost or just looking for that next little bit of gold information to take you forward. But it's not just information we're giving you this week, because if you want more from life, if you want more for your business, if you want to build your business or take things to another level, whether that's life, whether that's business, that's great. Because us as humans, we are designed for more. And growth is the root of us being here right inside us. But up to this point, no, a lot of us have been sold a lot of lies. It could be that you believe that money is really hard to come by, or that you just kind of grin and bear it and deal with the hand that you've been dealt with in terms of life, or you just get by what you've been given and you're happy with that, or you accept mediocrity. That's what we're not doing this week. This week we are really about leveling up, really thinking about how you take your life forward in every single aspect of your life. And there's going to be so many little quotes from this week, little one-liners, beliefs that we've been sold on that are not serving us anymore. So we can draw a line in the sand and decide, this is it for me, we're going to that next level. And we're here this whole entire week to really get through those myths, those beliefs, and maybe look at life through a completely different perspective. And that's by using your imagination. And that's not just for children. Your imagination is one of the most wonderful gifts you've been blessed with. So we should be teaching ourselves and our children and others how to use it properly. And that's what we're going to do this week. How to use your imagination to transform the life that you're living right now. So our question this week is usually, how do you want to live? What do you want? Not what you've been redesigning to have, or not what somebody else around you wants you to have, not what you've been sold as the only option. Really digging deep and really understanding it, because this is what we're going to be doing this week. Because our role over the next 3 days is to lead this process, to set that direction for you, to hold that structure that works. And your role is to stay present as much as you can, whether you're watching live or watching back in replay, because we're going to be here at 1 p.m. over the next 3 days, 7 p.m. an opportunity to come in and check in. Is this information sinking? Did you miss it? Have you got questions? We want to really, really give you as much as possible. So really squeeze as much out of us as you can, because if we hold this structure out the course of the week, it will work. So if you're here present and you notice your own responses to all the information we're going to be discussing, and you take responsibility for what you do with that, then wait and see what happens. Now, no one can do that for you. As Bob Proctor would say to us, if it works for one person, it can work for every single person. And now you can either accept that or reject that. It's up to yourself. Now, you might not understand everything. You might question things. You might feel unsure, but that's fine. And that's part of the process. But noticing that you're thinking is a great first step. Notice if you're meeting all this week with curiosity or an open mind or even rejection at times. It's the noticing that is so important, because this week we're going to show you something that Bob used to say. We used to chuckle at. He said that 2% of people think, 3% think they think, and 95% would rather die than think. And this is what we're going to be talking about this week. Really getting you to understand what we're doing here. There's so much information that we're going to be giving you away. And I know that some of you are probably doing something right now. You're doing lots of things. You're sitting there thinking, what are these stats? Where did they come from? How did you calculate that in the first place? What kind of people is Nikki and Jamie? That's the questions you're having. Who are these people? That's perfectly okay. And you might be laughing or slightly irritated as we go through this week, but good, because it's all important. Every single part of what we're doing here is all important. And the neuroscience tells us, from one particular book called Psycho-Cybernetics, we're going to be referring to a lot of books this week. Neuroscientists tell us by the time we're 35 that 98% of our behaviour is habitual. And it's like a supercomputer, this Psycho-Cybernetics. Psycho about the mind, cybernetics about machine. And that's set up for efficiency and safety. So it automates our behaviour, which means at times we act without thinking. Now, this serves us. We don't want to give up every single day, but we need to maybe relearn certain things. Relearn about how to think better. Relearn how to emotionally regulate ourselves. Relearning all the things we need to do. Because we've learnt lots of things over our life. Tying a shoelace, reading, writing, how to brush your teeth, but also these are the reasons we've got these barriers and limiting beliefs and blockages to the things that we really, really want in life. So we know we want them, but we don't do them because it's not familiar. So the dominating feelings from this week, we're going to really start to identify what's holding us back. Where do these dominating feelings come from? Because if I don't disrupt these patterns, then they're going to continue into tomorrow, into next week, into next month, and so on and so forth. So all of that, just from these 3 days, we're going to really cover. Is this making sense? Are you in the right place? So before I continue to go on, I'm going to just share something with you, because inside our portal, we've also given you access to the workbook. So if you haven't got this yet, go into the portal and see where this is. This is your guide for the week. So if you're coming on this call and feeling slightly hurried or rushed or anxious, maybe happy or joy, doesn't matter what those feelings are. You'll likely, whatever you felt yesterday, you'll likely be like that tomorrow. So I want you to write in your chat right now and trust the word that comes up for you exactly is what you need, and write it. How do you feel right now? How are you feeling? Nikki, how are you feeling right now?
Sorry, I was on mute. I feel
That's all right.
fabulous. I'm super excited. Yes, how are you?
I'm feeling so calm and relaxed because I love doing this. And this is a feeling that, these feelings we practice. I practice calmness every single day. Calmness is one of my superpowers. So think about just how you're feeling right now, because we're going to be reflecting a lot about this. We're going to be thinking about things a lot. And thinking about things isn't the same as thinking. Just be clear on that. But if you stay with us this entire week, in the next few days, then this is going to start making sense. It's going to really start to make sense as we go through this. And as Bob said in that video there, he's really focusing on the starting point of all achievement, that desire, and having that order in our mind. And when we really think about order in our mind, this is not just personal development. This is real change we're talking about, real life experience. And it's not about just collecting more information as we go through this week. It's about embodying that. Simply about learning how to think differently. Because this work is based on one simple truth, that thoughts impact on feelings, feelings impact on behaviours, and behaviours create new results, outcomes, conditions, circumstances, the environments we're around all the time. And if you approach this week as information, you will probably leave with lots and lots of notes. As you came back from a 2-day conference, and there was screeds of notes. But what am I going to do with them? Because probably 99% of information I'm going to forget. But if you approach this week with one decision that you're going to change one thing, you will leave changed. So you get to decide now, how are you going to enter into this space? Is it going to be feeling calm, feeling excited, feeling curious? More importantly, if you're choosing to engage absolutely fully in this process, to stay with this, even when it feels slightly more challenging, and you're going to take responsibility for your own experience this week, I want you all to type "I'm in" the chat.
Amen.
Who's in? Who's in? Because this is how you make a decision. Just by committing to what we're doing here, committing to being engaged. And the more we do this, then the more things start to move ahead. And levels of accountability go up. Accountability is the glue that binds intention with action. So we begin right now. And if you can follow what we're doing this week, you will really start to become what we call as an intelligent follower. So if you're here, good. If you're just sitting back watching in and curious, we appreciate that as well. We respect that. But if you want to really engage, engagement is where it's going to take that next level up. Isn't that right, Nikki?
Oh, isn't it just so right? And so much in what you've just shared, lots of ideas, lots of things to think about. But ultimately, I just wanted to move us forward a little bit in terms of time. But just that reminder, or just to really emphasize the point that there's nothing that we're saying to you that is random. Every single thing that we have got to, that we've created for this week, that we've created for these sessions, that the conversations that we're going to guide in the Zoom rooms in the evenings, everything is purposeful and it's intentional. And our intention is to deliver these 6 sessions so that you will leave here with so much more understanding about your own potential, about your possibilities, and that you will want to stay in our world, as what you realise is environment's really important as you move towards creating a life that really takes you beyond where you are right now. So keep that chat coming with all the excitement. This challenge, this next 3 days, these next 6 sessions, they are designed to give you the missing pieces of the jigsaw. They are designed to help you to realise why you've not done the things that you've said are important to you. And if you don't know what that is, because a lot of people will come to us and they'll say, I just don't know what it is that I want, then also they are designed to help you to get some clarity. But one of the things I want to really emphasize is anything that we ask you to do it right away. Yeah, one of the biggest things with the mind is the human mind treats hesitation as danger. So our subconscious mind loves action, and as we do something straight away, then it gets very excited. But if we hesitate, it assumes that danger is afoot. So I don't know if you've seen that film, Inside Out. It's such a great film. We've got all these little people in our head, and that is exactly what happens. We've got these little people in our heads, and what they say is, oh, she's not taking action, so there must be danger. And then what it does is it floods your body with all the chemicals that are associated with keeping that delay in place. So it makes sense, doesn't it, that when we ask you to do something, do it right away. Don't wait. And don't think about it for hours, just actually do it. Otherwise, you won't do it. So what I really would love you to hear is there is no right, no wrong here. There is no good, no bad, no judgment. And our invitation is to create the community within this community that we've already started to create today, which is when people share, comment on it, like it, love it, start to build that community feeling by recognizing each of you as you do the things that we ask you to do. There is a Facebook group that you've been invited into. Join that. It's full of people like you, people that have been in this challenge, people that have come back to the challenge time and time again, and people that are completely brand new to our world. So if you are willing to do the work as it is given, then please do type "got it" in the chat. And then the next word that I want to introduce you to is persistence. Persistence is the key. We're going to ask you to do little things every day for the next 3 days. And what we'll also do, because we really want you to do the work, and we know for some of you hesitation is maybe a normal pattern that you have, we want to give you a little gift to incentivize you to do the work. And so, who loves a gift? Do you love a gift? Jamie, I love a gift.
Yeah, I love gifts.
Yeah. Let's put a gift emoji in the chat. I love a gift. Everything that you need is in the portal. Our work there is there the workbook, is there to support you through the process. You've got it there. You can print it off. You can have it. You'll have it forever. What matters, more important than anything else, is you actually write something down. No matter what it is that comes up for you, write it down. The workbook is there to guide you, to give you some direction, but if you've got bits of paper or a journal that you like to use, that is just as good. So writing literally slows your thinking down. It brings your awareness into form. It is the pathway to the subconscious mind. So 93% of how we behave comes from the subconscious. It comes from the emotional mind. And it's usually based on the past, something that's happened to us that we've really made mean something. And when we write, we're bringing that into our conscious awareness. And when we bring it into our conscious awareness, we get to question it. We get to look at it and think, well, is it true? Is it really true that I'm afraid to blah, blah, blah? Is it really true that doing this makes me stressed? You know, whatever it is, when you start to write down all the things that are stopping you from doing what you want to do, you're taking a distance from that emotion and you're seeing it written on paper and you're able to look at it from a distance and actually question, is this true? And writing helps you to understand where it's come from. So writing is how we tap into our subconscious mind, and it's how we start to meet it with curiosity, meet it with compassion. It's understandable why we don't do the things when we start to really understand our thinking and feeling loops that are associated with the things. So what we want to do is bring that into your conscious awareness so that you can disrupt that pattern, because once you see it, you can't unsee it, and when you see it, you get to change it. So we will guide you through every exercise, again, that's in that book. And again, everything that's in that book is intentional. We are taking you on a journey where one builds on the other. So if you miss these sessions live, catch the replay. Don't not come to Zoom though if you haven't seen the session. Just come. We will work through, we will meet you where you're at. But do take that time to go through each of the sessions. One of the wonderful things about watching things back on replay is you get to speed it up a little bit. You can watch it at 1.25 and still follow it. Or you can just, listen as you're going about in your car. I was listening to things this morning as I was in the car. I was listening to things as I was making breakfast. There's always an opportunity to catch up. But just bring yourself to the Zoom room and we will. The conversations are not planned. We just go with what comes up and they're always incredible. The guidebook, the workbook is in there on the portal. The Facebook link is on the portal. The timings are in the portal. The YouTube links are in the portal. The links for here, the links for Zoom, everything is in the portal. We have made this so easy for you. It is literally step by step. All you need to do is go into that WhatsApp group and just follow the links that are there. And enjoy the workbooks, enjoy the questions, enjoy the answers, because you will start to see things in yourself that you have never seen before. Our amazing Bob Proctor used to say he had incredible sayings, and we will definitely be sharing the ones that have resonated with each of us as we go through this. But one of the things he used to say is, most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death. And I know that that's where I was going. I know for about a decade I was looking for retirement. It was just the culture of the organisation that I worked in was getting to that, closer to death. And that saying really resonated with me. One of the things that we know is that life will end. But this bit between today and whenever that is for you is what you get to do. That's your journey. And you get to do anything that you want to do. You get to move through the information that comes up for you that helps you to decide, well, what is it that I want to do? We're going to talk to you a lot about energy. We're going to talk to you a lot about intention, imagination, making decisions. We're going to talk to you about the fears that are there for everyone that hold people back. We're going to talk to you about successful people doing the things that other people don't want to do. We're going to talk to you about laws of the universe. We're going to talk to you about all things that are really woo, and you're going to love it because it's going to change your life. So there's so much about how the mind and the body works that we're not taught in any other kind of education as we're growing up. But we're going to give that information to you so that you can bring that into your consciousness, so that you could start to realise there's so much about how we live our life that we've got more control of than we currently realise. And as you start to use the methods that we share with you, it won't feel natural at first. Anything that's new feels clunky. You weren't born knowing how to ride a bike. You had to learn. You had to fall off. You had to do these things, and discomfort is part of the process. But something happens to us as we get older and we start to be less tolerant of discomfort. But discomfort is the only way to learn, because we can't become familiar with anything without going through the discomfort of the not knowing first. So expect discomfort as you go through these next 3 days with us. We're going to ask you to take action, expect to feel hesitant, expect to feel scared, and then just do it anyway. Because eventually that's who you become. You become the person that does the things. You become, that's the habit that you create, and how the mind works is what you give it, it wants more of. So you start to become more braver with your choices and more confident in your ability, and your self-trust really deepens. And then you know that you are the sort of person that does the things that you say you want to do. So this week is putting you back in the driver's seat. This is you getting to decide what's next. Everything that we've done this week is for you. There is nothing that we won't give you. We're not here to just give you a wee bit of the information and tease you into our academy. We absolutely want to work with you beyond this. Of course we do. We love building our academy. We love bringing in like-minded people. But this is about you getting to choose the information that resonates with you and make a decision about what it is that you want to do as a result of being here. We are going to record these, and we are going to keep them. Are we going to just keep them till Monday? Or what's your thoughts, Jamie? We didn't actually clarify. How do you want to keep the recordings?
Yeah, we'll keep them till Monday. Yeah, we've got all the way
Keep
till Monday.
the recordings available through the portal until Monday. So it does give you a little bit of an opportunity to re-watch them, because once Monday comes, the recordings come down. You will notice questions. That's all part of the process. Write them down. So again, that journal, that book that we've got for you, just write things down. And there will be space for us to answer your questions. And when you come into the Zoomverse with us, we will answer your questions. Please know that you are not doing this alone. We have other people to support the container with us. We've got a couple of coaches that work with us. I think Elizabeth, I'm not sure if she's here or not. But we might reach out to you. Elizabeth might reach out to you. Just know that that's all part of the process. And stay with it. Notice the inner voice, make that decision. As Jamie said, there's always going to be that, oh, I'm too busy today. Oh gosh, I haven't done the questions. I better not go. Just notice all of that, all of those thoughts that are designed to keep you from coming along. And it's part of the process. You're going to tell yourself you're too busy, you're too tired, or you don't get it. And you know what, just keep turning up. So type a yes that you're going to be committed to being here for the next 3 days. And yeah, we are excited.
Very excited. So as we're coming to the top of the hour, what we'd like to do now is really set the scene for what we're going to do today that's going to set up the rest of the week. And that is about you setting your creative and ambitious goal. So I'm going to just bring up the worksheets here. So I'm not going to go through all of the pages, but there's a little introduction from me and Nikki, what this week's all about, steps to success, get to know who we are, and then you're going to make a commitment. But what we want to go and talk about right now is talk about the type of goals that we set towards that ambitious goal. So I want you to think about one question. What is the purpose of a goal? And I want you to really think about that. What is the purpose of a goal? The purpose of a goal, you may be thinking, it's to achieve something. It's for direction. It's to get. That might be a byproduct of a goal. The true purpose of a goal is growth. Because if there's no growth attached to a goal, it's not going to do what goals are intended for you to do. So what I would suggest is you to have an understanding, write your goals down, because there's a bit of homework to do before we come onto the Zoomiverse tonight. Whatever those goals are, you could probably categorize them. And what we focus on is the different types of goal. A goals, B goals, and C goals. Now, an A-type goal is a goal you know how to achieve. So it's almost like a to-do list. You've done it once, you can do it again. For example, I buy a new car every 4 years. That would be an A-type goal because I've done it before, I've done it again, there's no growth attached to that. A B-type goal is a goal you think you can achieve. So if you line up all the different components that will give you the necessary outcome, then you think, yeah, I do this and I do this, put that together, I will achieve an outcome. It's the C-type goals we want you to focus on for today that's going to propel you through the rest of this week. These are goals that excite you and exhilarate you at the same time, but there might be a little bit of fear attached to it because you're not entirely sure you can achieve it. But it needs to be your deepest desires. That's why we started with Bob's video on desire being the starting point of all achievement, and we'll finish with that. This needs to be a goal you truly, truly want. It comes from the heart, something that really fills you up inside with these emotions. So today is write down what you want. Write a list. Personal wants, professional wants. Then look at these two lists and say, what's the one goal that would mean the most out of everything if I achieved that? And might be the catalyst for going to other things. And if you do that, you've got your goal. But what we would love you to do today for your homework is to put it onto this goal card. You're going to write it down and you're going to start this with, I'm so grateful and happy now that. And in the section at the bottom, you're going to put a date of when you want to achieve this. That's not today's date, it's when you want to achieve this. And then you're going to put in a little bit of detail. I'm so happy and grateful now that you might be earning a certain amount of money. You might have a particular career or level in the career. There may be places in the world you're looking to travel. It might be impact you're having on the family. But you're going to write this in detail. And this is what we're going to focus on tonight in the Zoom call, is to find out how do you really start to clarify and create your ambitious C-type goal. So tonight we're encouraging you to, 1, write this down, 2, come to the Zoomiverse and we'll have a good chat about your C-type goal of what you want to achieve, and 3, you're going to take a photograph and upload it into the Facebook group. Now you get into the Facebook group by being in the portal and then asking to join, and we'll let you in. And this way you'll see everybody else who's willing to take that commitment to taking it forward. Once you do this, this will set up the rest of this week, and it will make sense why we're starting with this, because you need to really get emotionally involved in your goal. There's other worksheets in your workbook to work you through, because if you don't have a strong enough reason why you want this, you might be detracted by the next shiny thing. So we're going to ask yourself the reason why 7 times, asking yourself the question 7 times and writing down why. You'll see there's QR codes in the workbook as well. This will give you articles that can support your decision making. So the first article here for day 1 is decision making, and it'll really help you to really get that clarity. If you're stuck, you don't know what to do, that's why we're coming on Zoom tonight at 7 p.m. and the Zoom link will be on your email and it will be in the WhatsApp group as well. So as we go through this, it's giving you all that you need to write your goal correctly. Okay? And they've got a summary at the back of lesson 1 as well. So if we go back to this page here, this is what we want to focus on tonight. Print this off, or you can write it in your own format, or you can use AI, but you need to come up with your C-type goal today. Get it in the Facebook group, come along to the Zoom call tonight, and we will give you the guidance. This is all about us guiding you this week to understand, what do you want? Because if you don't know what you want, then how do we really start to make the path to go and get there? Is this making sense? Give me a yes if this is making sense in the chat. Who's coming to the Zoomiverse tonight? Because there's so much. Nikki, you want to add anything before I bring Bob back on?
No, I think that's perfect. We've said a lot, so just let it all resonate, let it all land, rewatch it if you can, just listen to us in the background, trust that what your subconscious needs you get. And, you know, if you've never done anything like this before, enjoy, notice the resistance and do it anyway. And if you have done it before, then let's take it to a different level, because if you know the power that comes when you write things down with goal setting, just do it, because it amazes me every time I write. I was sharing with Jamie in the community this morning that I had a bit of some thoughts yesterday, and I thought I'll do a bit of journaling, and had another part of my goal come up for me that I didn't even know existed until 24 hours ago. So it's so powerful. It's just incredible, and it never ends, and it just gets to be amazing. So enjoy, and we'll see you tonight.
Yeah. Here's Bob again. We'll see you tonight. Any help, let us know. I can't wait to see them in the Facebook group. So here's Bob, and see you tonight, 7 p.m. on Zoom.
Thomas Troward talked about the starting point. I love that man's work. I truly love it. Now, the starting point is such a magnificent concept. It's something that you can read over and over and over again. He says it's an old saying that order is heaven's first law. And like many other old sayings, it contains a much deeper philosophy than appears immediately on the surface. Order is heaven's first law. Calm. Everything positive you can think of. You could speak in superlatives all day long, and you'd still fall short. You're talking about something beyond the scope of our vocabulary. All of our words in our vocabulary are third dimensional words. And when you get into talking about God, Spirit, infinite, you don't have a word in your vocabulary to describe that. You've gone beyond the third dimension. So we're talking about something that's so good, you can't even describe it. That's a heavenly state. Now he says, getting things into a better order is the great secret of progress. It's the great secret of progress. If you want to make progress, make order essential in your life. Got to have order. We're now able to fly through the air, not because the laws of nature have been altered, but because we have learned to arrange things in the right order to produce this result. If all things are possible, we've always been able to fly. It was because we learned to arrange things in the right order to produce that result. Well, if you want to get a result you haven't got, if you want a result beyond where you're at, you got to get things into a better order. Things themselves had existed from the beginning of the world. What was wanting was the introduction of the personal factor. You'll hear people say, God will do it. God will not do it. You got to do it. God works to and through you, but you've got to do it. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. You and I are creative beings. We can go with our mind and we can take ourselves there and we say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring this into form. I can see it. I can see it. If I can hold it in my head, I can hold it in my hand.